Greetings and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Kiyonah. May you be blessed. So today, what I'm thinking about is a concept called Homo Luminous. Homo Luminous. I believe Alberto Villoldo wrote about it. And what I'm thinking is basically, as we look at the Mandela effect and the flat earth theory and the matrix, as we look at these things as activists, as human beings, as conscious souls, we probably realize that the source seeks to experience expansion through the experiences of life. And a contraction is part of the natural rhythm of that. Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. It's the cosmic law of rhythm. Well, the old paradigms such as patriarchy, transhumanism, corporate capitalism, these old paradigms have run their course. They are needing to be replaced by expansion. I wrote some notes of my thoughts because it feels really huge in my mind. I wrote some notes of my thoughts. The old paradigms that I mentioned, like slavery, patriarchy, corporate capitalism, transhumanism, these old paradigms are unraveling in this day and age in history. And because we, as source, seek expansion through our life experiences, when those paradigms and things you've been living by become stagnant or contracted or densified, then the cosmic law of rhythm says that it's time for expansion. Okay? So, we need new maps for ourselves in order to get there. We need luminous, illuminated maps, in order to cross over to our next level of ascension. We can also think of it as a ladder where we can go down, where we densify in the dimensions of reality, or we can go up into expansion. And I feel like we've been at a lower vibration. We've been raising it for several years now. And so it's time for expansion. It's time for new meta-narratives. It's time for new paradigms. It's time for a new experience of being human. But yet this new experience is based on ancient human wisdom and life ways. And so the concept of Homo Luminous is one of those maps. It's based on archetypes, and each archetype represents one of the phases of this journey as a hero, this hero's journey. Homo Luminous. Look it up if you don't know about it. Because the next phase of our evolution from contraction to expansion is pretty much spiritual in nature. With the ascension process, what we're doing is we are blending our physical life with our spiritual and metaphysical life. We're blending the two together instead of them being separate. We are awake as we dream life. We've blended both. And so as we make this crossing from Homo sapiens to Homo Luminous, we're basically walking in two worlds. We're walking in two worlds while we learn to weave them and blend them together. And people who are Homo Luminous are more fully integrated than the average person in their physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental selves, and all the other aspects that go with it. They're able to embody themselves as beings of light in this physical world. They do things like taking in knowledge and wisdom all the time. amplifying the good energies of their home with crystals and things like that, ingesting things like monatomic gold. And these things purify and amplify your frequencies, your vibrations, and your emotional signature. And that's part of being a Homo Luminous. So that's kind of one of the little points on the map that you can look to show you how to be a Homo Luminous. Now, consciously evolving, personal evolution, which radiates and ripples out into cultural evolution, and cosmic evolution, and all of that pertains to expansion, expanding from being a Homo sapiens to a Homo Luminous. So as we become more Homo Luminous in our activism, in confronting and transforming things like patriarchy and corporate capitalism and things like that, we tend to make sure that our values are in alignment with what we're doing in the world. If we value the environment, then we will not start a business that harms the environment in any way, because then we would be contributing to it, and that's the old paradigms. We're going to be conscious of what we're doing, because to be Homo Luminous is to be proactive as a co-creator of life, and this is the phase that people think we're evolving into. Not the Homo Deus of transhumanism and robotics and technological improvements. Not transhumanism. Homo Luminous, as prophesied by the shamans, the Maya, the Hopi, the Inca, and I'm sure many more. The Matrix, we're seeing the Mandela effect, where they're trying to plant false memories in people, but they're not falling for it. The Matrix has no power over Homo Luminous people, and they know it. They see Homo Luminous people as very powerful and able to see through their images. So it puts out intentional disinformation all the time and makes people think that it's not possible to be Homo Luminous. And it is. It's our natural evolution. And to be Homo Luminous is to have the potential for things like being multidimensional, where you can walk in and out of dimensions. Time traveling, because the past is just as flexible as the future, apparently, with what we're seeing with the Mandela effect. The past is changing all around us all the time, every day. There's hundreds of examples. Thousands, 12,000. It's possible to do remote viewing or spontaneous regeneration of your body, psychic communication, almost instant manifestation. And the Matrix knows it's impossible to control Homo Luminous people. So herein lies our empowerment, okay? On all levels. For awakening, awareness, alignment, ascension, abundance. This is a map that can show you how to get there. And I'm hoping it's one of many maps that I would love to discover. But this is a good map, Homo Luminous. Homo Luminous people do not sleepwalk through life. We're consciously aware of what's happening to a higher degree than other people. And sometimes they think we're crazy, but we're not. This 3D world is in fact appearing to come unraveled. Or maybe the Matrix is coming unraveled. And Homo Luminous people just almost half-consciously are always working on eliminating and collapsing their negative timelines of bad things that happened and played themselves out, clearing their karma, living by the Dharma. They're releasing their dependencies on things so that they can consciously choose whether they want something or not, rather than being dependent on it. Releasing their crutches, their paraphernalia, and carrying the wisdom within. They're just stepping into their next phases of embodiment and manifestation here as fully integrated Homo Luminous people. So what does this transformation look like? You know, well, the issues facing humanity are huge. They really are big problems. There's a lot of collapses, there's a lot of unraveling, there's still a lot of conflict. So I think our work on the personal level is to develop principles and practices in our work, in our healthcare, in our politics, in our personal life ways that are balanced, that are more than sustainable, that are feminine, or that are at least half feminine so it's balanced. You know, that bring back the divine feminine. Because a big part of why the world is the way it is right now is because of an overpowering of masculine energies. Not that I think any men I know or have known have these qualities, but these masculine paradigms that are economic and political and social and educational and, you know, medical, they tend to be hostile towards the earth. They tend to be aggressive towards other people and creatures. They tend to focus on dominion, on ownership, on consumption. And these things may have their place, but these particular ways have exhausted themselves. They've exhausted us. They've exhausted the planet. You know, it's gone as far as it feasibly can without reuniting with the divine feminine. You know, we need balance with the rest of life, not dominion over it. We're the only ones on earth who got kicked out of the garden, you know? And it's past time to return to the garden, but the garden knows that you're tainted, you know? And the birds in the forest will be quiet when you walk in because they know there's a stranger around. So in order to be able to return to the garden in a connected way, so to speak, you know, you need to cleanse and purge and purify yourself of negative timelines and negative paradigms, negative meta-narratives, negative mythologies, negative archetypes. Not that I think the negative in life is bad, I'm just saying we're in a state of having been in contraction, and now it's time to expand. So we're going to let go of some luggage that we don't need in order to lighten our load so we can have a better adventure. And we also need to learn to be stewards and caretakers again who truly love the trees we see and the insects on the ground and the things that fly around us. We truly love and care about them, and that, you know, instead of being consumers, we're caretakers. And if we need any real examples, we can look to indigenous people all over the world, from history up to now. You know, we need to stop the hostilities against the earth, stop the hostilities against the feminine principles wherever they're found, stop the hostility against the divine feminine, and quit trying to dominate and own it. We have to break free of these masculine femme paradigms, or overly masculine paradigms. You know, we need balance, we need honor, we need respect, we need empathy, we need compassion, we need nurturing, we need healing and restoration and rebirth. We need sustainability and beyond, so that we are making such fertile creations that it uses less energy than it needs and it returns more than it uses. Like, it's time to step it up. We need collaborative relationships with ourselves, each other, and all of life, where we learn to give consent if we really want something. We don't just passively accept whatever's going down, you know? And we can look to the earth peoples for examples as we subvert these old paradigms and manifest new ones that are more appropriate for this age of history, you know? And the earth peoples tend to focus on multidimensionality, especially their shamans or medicine people who can travel between dimensions. Animism, where we see everything as being alive and conscious, aware and connected with emotions and bonds and everything else. Shamanism, where we journey between the worlds and obtaining experiences and knowledge and information to bring back to share with our people. Connectedness, They're connected with each other in all ways, you know. We can try to think of how we could do these things in our own lives. Become more like them. When we live in balance and connectedness, life becomes magical. It's benign. It's healthy, you know. When we consciously walk in balance and connectedness, even if we're the only ones who know or appreciate it, just the very act of doing it is beautiful and heroic. When we're out of balance, as we have been for so many thousands of years, it feels like life is adversarial. It feels like everything is an obstacle and a struggle, and it's just nothing but suffering. It's because you're out of right relationship with the world and with yourself. You know? And we do this realignment and this rebirthing energetically with energy healing, calling back the lost parts of our soul, you know, healing our wounds, cleansing and purging out any kind of thought viruses. So, you know, Homo Luminous people are into energy healing, even on themselves, like making psi balls and just doing all kinds of stuff. Sending out good energy to people through your mind, and then they actually receive it. Energy healing. They're doing shifting of their values and their principles and their projects. And if they don't do it willingly, then life yanks it away from them. Like if they're thinking it's time for a career change and they're kind of waffling on it, you know, because their job is really good and they're earning good money, then they go in and find out they've been dismissed, you know, and they knew it was coming, but they didn't act on it. Well, Homo Luminous people are proactive. They say, oh, it's time to go in a different direction and start something new, because what I've been doing has run its course. And it's time to explore new terrain and expand again. So what we do is we go to our very core level, if you can think of it that way, our Homo Luminous core as infinite eternal beings who are manifested in a human body, and we do work there. That's where healing happens, and then it's like a house. It's like a line of dominoes all the way up to your manifestation to the world. You start at the core, and then it goes stack, 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 hitting every layer of yourself all the way out until you're fully aligned and fully integrated. And that's Homo Luminous. And the Matrix has no control over Homo Luminous people. What we do, what a lot of people do, especially people who trip on the entheogens, is we try to connect with not with our linear sense of self, but with our infinite sense of self, like we experience when we're tripping. You know, the part of ourselves that is not bound by linear time and space. It's bigger than it. It's within it. It's, you know, illumination like this, like Homo Luminous illumination. It happens in our infinite selves before it happens in our actual manifestation of reality. We glow from within with spiritual power. We're luminous. And in that state, we can reform, we can regrow, we can realign, rebirth, recreate. And this has been shown by the few people who have done it, which shows us we have the potential to do it too. You know, during these transitions of choosing new values, new principles, new projects, new intentions, new missions, we can reinvent ourselves and our lives. From Homo sapiens to Homo Luminous. This is an opportunity to realign your life with the principles of freedom and liberty and truth and all that good stuff. And instead of being wounded and triggered by life, by the Matrix, we can be catalyzed and inspired. We can be courageous enough to co-create away from the Matrix and say, haha, I attained resolution, you have no hold over me now. You know, I will use you as I wish. You are not going to use me. like with using the internet. We go from being victims to being heroes as we embrace the hero's journey, the journey of the hero. You know, the hero feels great pain, great suffering, numerous defeats, losing his mentor, you know, getting lost, battling monsters. But because he knows he's on a journey of a hero to retrieve those prizes to return to his people, he's courageous, or she is courageous, and catalyzed, empowered, you know. So this is a critical time now, as the Mandela effect is showing what the Matrix is really trying to do, and that it's unraveling, and that humans are seeing through it, because enough of us are either cultural creatives, or we're ascending, or something. This is a critical time for reawakening to the sacred earth, to the divine feminine, to medicine ways, you know, through transformation, through reinvention, through innovation. Right here in our daily life. Like, I feel like my making this video is a way for me to do all this stuff. We are the new map makers. When the earth went from being flat to being a round dome, they had to have new map makers, the guides to the new territory. Now, it's changing shape again, from what I hear. And we are the new map makers. We are the guides to the new terrains, if we choose to be conscious that way. So you know, we as Homo Luminous people will want to dialogue with ourselves, with other people, with the world, even with trees, with water, through music, through art, through everything we do. We want to connect with and respond to life as though it's actually really what we feel it is, and not this bland version presented by the Matrix. It's psychedelic, it's passionate, it's powerful. And as we do this, we can call on ancient archetypes, ancient principles, ancient traditions, like ancient archetypes of teacher, healer, visionary, warrior. You know, ancient traditions like rituals and ceremonies and initiations. You know, principles like as above, so below, as within, so without. You know, we can look to those things as guides as we shape our new selves. Let's see what we got here. It is up to each of us, as conscious people, as activists, or whatever else we do, it's up to each of us to take these quantum leaps out of the Matrix. You know, as we do, it helps and transforms the whole planet. You know, like if you have a bucket of water and you add a drop of hot water to it, it is going to change the overall temperature just slightly, because one of the molecules is hotter. So as we do these quantum leaps, we're adding to that critical mass, you know, and it helps it transform, to expand instead of contract. As we awaken our perceptions of energy and spirit, as we see through the Matrix and see the true psychedelic, sacred geometry, fractalized holographic reality that we're blinded to by the Matrix, as we make new agreements with spirit, with ourselves, with the world, as we travel through the phases of the journey of the hero. Look that up if you don't know much about it. You go from initiation to mastery, and you go through phases. As we do all of these things, we emerge as Homo Luminous people. We don't need millions of years to evolve like cave people. We can evolve now in our lifetime, because it's mainly spiritual and energetic in nature. We don't need thousands of generations to make gradual changes. We can do this right now. And by shifting like this, we bring new realities here into being. I think that's when I have a sensation that I'm on an alternate timeline. And then I step back into it. I have no control over it. It's completely spontaneous. But I hope it'll happen in a solid way eventually. By shifting like these things, we bring a new reality into being, and the world changes accordingly. We dream with our eyes open because we are Homo Luminous. So those are my thoughts today about activism, the ascension process, the awakening, attaining freedom from any enslavement, physical, psychic, or otherwise, and attaining freedom and holding a steady vibe, a good vibe. This is just part of walking a conscious path in life, so I'm just sharing my thoughts with you. But I guess I'll conclude the message for now. If you haven't done so, I would advise you to look into these concepts of the journey of the hero and how we can evolve into being Homo Luminous. I think those are very important in my journey, those concepts. Walking a path, knowing your mission or your purpose, finding freedom from the matrix, evolving into Homo Luminous. These things seem really meaningful to me, relevant, significant, and meaningful, individually and collectively, personally and collectively. So, remember to be beautiful, be free, and be true to yourself. And be blessed whenever you can. Go smell some flowers. And be blessed because you truly are. And as you go through your day, take care and take it easy. And I'll talk with you soon. Until then, namaste and blessed be.